So the UK has officially left the European Union, and that means no more rows with European politicians in buildings like this one. Right? Well, no, not quite.
Who are you? I'd never heard of you.
No cherry picking at all. No way.
This is all about a giant puzzle, and Brexit has left behind plenty of holes that now have to be filled in. So we have to find a new way of putting all these pieces back together again.
I hope you got the message by now. We've made a choice. We want a comprehensive free trade agreement similar to Canada's.
Let's start with a really big one, and that's trade. Can Britain and Europe really come up with a deal that would mean no tariffs and no quotas on things being sold between the two sides? Tariffs are taxes which mean imports would become expensive. In other words, French cheese and German cars would get pricier. In theory, avoiding that sounds like a no-brainer, but there are lots and lots of things that will have to be negotiated. Will the new rules about trade in Northern Ireland really work as seamlessly as promised? And talking of tough problems, who's going to be allowed to fish in British waters from now on? Everywhere you look, there are problems to be sorted. Will British banks and financial giants be allowed to sell their services to European companies? What about cooperation on security and policing? And then there's our information and data. How's that going to be shared, and who's going to monitor it? And what about the status of Brits living in Europe who don't know what regulations they're going to face? Then all those questions about travel. Which queue will British people use at a European airport? Will mobile phones become more expensive to use in Europe? Will pets travel as easily as they do now? Leading the talks for Europe, the chief Brexit negotiator, Michel Barnier, who reports to the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. And behind them, 27 European nations who will all have different ideas about what the deal should look like.
The UK has voted out.
So much to decide and so little time. The EU has taken years to negotiate trade deals, but this time the deadline is fast approaching. The end of 2020.
We can get Brexit done now.
In theory, it could be extended, but Boris Johnson is adamant he wants to stick to the deadline, and plenty of European politicians have told me the same, that they're sick and tired of talking about Brexit. They just want to get it over and done with.
We did it! We pulled it off, didn't we? We broke the deadlock, we ended the gridlock, we smashed the roadblock.
So yes, the UK has left the European Union, but the story of Brexit has still got a fair way to go. Because when it comes to puzzles, this one may take a little while to solve.